That sounds like Vladimir. Yo, Faye, super important question. Is it
Yes.
capital F or lowercase f? Because I've seen your name in so many different varieties. And then first, am I even saying it right? So
Yeah.
first off, how do I spell it? And then yes, I am saying it right.
Yeah, Faye is correct. Okay, it's funny that you asked that because I initially wanted it to be lowercase, but then it was literally just a thing where, like, when I submitted my Spotify stuff, they were like, oh, we don't allow creative capitalization. And I'm like, that's not true because other people have done it. And then it became uppercase because of that, but now I kind of am glad that it is. So uppercase F. Yeah.
I was playing with like Kanye would get a pass. I think Kim Kardashian would get a pass for that. If she was like, I will exclusively put content onto your platform with lowercase, they'd say yes in a heartbeat, right?
Yeah, and I've seen even like not like huge people have done it. I just don't, I don't know. I was like, I'm sure there's a way to do it, but like, do I care about this enough to like really push for it? I was like, not really.
No, for sure. So all right. So preferably we'll go with lowercase f, but if forced by the autocorrect, we'll go with capital, but preferably lowercase f, right?
Yeah, I'm versatile.
I'm super curious why. Just out of curiosity, why? Like artistically, what kind of appeal to lowercase f?
Okay, so my like legal actual name is Tanya, and I always like my legal signature is all in lowercase because I always hated how the cursive T looked. So I think it was just kind of like an extension of that. But what's ironic is the reason that I never liked how the cursive T looked is because it looks too much like an F, which is funny because I like translates over.
Got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was trying to make sense of it. Like I said, I wish you could see what's behind me. I have so many like post-it notes, and I promise you we're gonna get it all squeezed in within 30 minutes. But let's get a little bit excited. Of course, I got excited because just to be honest with you, I'll have people throw me songs, friends and people who just know people or just regular artists will reach out to me with a new song and be like, yo, that's cool. We'll put it on a Techniculture and we'll get it rocking and rolling. But this one, actually, when I heard it, I was like, oh, wow, this is fun. This is exciting. I know you're like, oh my gosh, stop making me blush.
No. I mean, it's my favorite, so I'm so happy to hear that.
For sure. And I was like, you know what? Let's just go bigger than just a simple post, right? Let's actually do a quick Q&A. And, I kind of told you about the lifestyle stuff because when people hear good music, they want to relate to that music, but also know who you are as a person. So first and foremost, not to get to the boring side of things that are people that want to know personal stuff about you, but talk about how in the world did the concept come about? Because I know it's the last official song leading up to this new EP that's dropping, but concept, why did this song make sense?
Okay, so I basically found out about the phrase devil may care, which means sort of like reckless and careless. And like the way that my brain went was like, I'm a very non-religious person. I grew up in a like super non-religious household. So I kind of use like mocking religious themes in a lot of my music because I can. And so basically I kind of had the thought where I was like, I know that devil may care is supposed to be like, oh, like no one cares about what you're doing. But I kind of had the thought process of it. I was like, I feel like if the devil did care about something, he would make it way worse. Like not being hands off, but making it worse. And I used to have some anger issues that I kind of had to unlearn. But even though I have gotten really good about not like reacting to situations, my brain still goes to like a really fucked up place. Like when somebody does something to me, I've never slashed anyone's tires, but that is where my brain goes every time I get mad. Every single time I'm like, I should slash their tires. I've never actually followed through, but I basically was just like, I'm gonna let my brain go to like the place where it goes when it's like really fucked up and where I'm really angry. Not the things that I'll ever do, but just kind of like, if basically letting that like devil on your shoulder win, where you're like, you know what, fuck it, you go, have fun. So that was kind of the concept of it.
Yeah, and Faith just going right into it, like looking at the lyrics and the wordplay, I just had a lot of fun with it. It was like, fingers on the gun, pulling the trigger, it's your fault. Like I just got really kind of taken away by it. And I took down a couple quick notes based off of some reactions on the TikTok. And what did I put? Hell yeah, I'm in. 20th couldn't come soon enough. What else was it? Ready for the spooky, sexy era. You had like endless positive comments. Of course, people want to get your attention, but just give me a quick feel for just the overall excitement for this record to come out on the 20th.
Wait, I'm sorry. I think I missed the actual question.
Yeah, I hyped it up so much. Just your reaction to just all the excitement, all the anticipation, because I know a few people you actually responded to those comments, but just the overwhelming positive feedback? Just kind of what's that been like?
Honestly, I am stoked because thanks to TikTok, the pre-saves for this song are triple what like my previous high record has been, and this is like my favorite song that I've put out. I mean, I'm a firm believer that every song that an artist puts out should be their new favorite because it's like you should be growing. That should be your new favorite. So yeah, this is my favorite, and what's funny is the TikTok that did well was one that I didn't necessarily want to post. It's like not my favorite kind with like the long text and everything. So I like posted it and then just like didn't think about it. And then I checked my phone later and I was like, that's a lot of notifications. And yeah, I saw that everyone was excited about it. And I was just stoked because I've kind of been pushing it for a bit, but you know, you're at the mercy of an algorithm. So you're like, please let this get seen by the right people.
Gotcha. And it's the right time. It's October. It's exciting. It's scary. It's devilish types of things and things of that nature. And you know what? I really want to talk more about kind of the TikTok aspect of it, because I know that's one thing you've really pushed for. It's like, look, especially independent artists, there's so much power in this TikTok tool. And I just really kind of want to I know you've broken it down, but just for you personally, how much of an uplifting source it's been, because there's always been Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Who goes to Facebook anymore, right? Outside of family and friends. But definitely talk about TikTok being just kind of that big boost for you.
Yeah, I mean, I am super, super pro TikTok because I just feel like it has like democratized the music industry in a way that has never really been done before. I mean, we saw it a little bit with like MySpace and sort of the blogs that were bigger in like around 2010s, but I feel like TikTok has just given so much power to the artist. I remember reading somewhere that one of the reasons that TikTok is such a powerful mover for music is because it's one of the few social media apps where most people are scrolling with the sound on. Because on a lot of things like Instagram and stuff, you kind of just have your phone on silent. You're not really listening to things. But on TikTok, like you're trying to listen to stuff. So it's like, as musicians, we're like, oh my God, thank God, you're not just looking at a photo of us, like you're gonna hear the actual music, like, goddamn. On Twitter, like you have to like direct someone to a thing away from the platform. On Instagram, you have to get someone to turn their volume on. And it's like, that's not gonna happen. But yeah, TikTok, I just really like that it gives people, it kind of like levels the playing field, I feel like you'll see label signed artists that aren't doing as well on TikTok, then you'll see independent artists who are absolutely crushing it on TikTok. And I just think it is so cool that artists have so much power like that. And I also know too that I've read articles about how it has shifted how record deals are happening, where the split used to be something, I think it was like a 90-10 split where the artist would get 10%, which is insane. And now record deals are getting closer to 50-50 because artists are coming in with so much more leverage and so much of an audience and so much of this like defined brand that they're like, fuck you, I can do this without you. Like you can help if you want, but I can't do this without you.
No, for sure. And let me ask you, when was that like that big turning point for you, right? Because obviously people who are keeping tabs on you. People have been doing this for 2-3 years. Putting out music, growing that brand, growing that buzz. But obviously, was it a particular song, a particular video where it just kind of like the light bulb just turned on? Like, oh my gosh, all hail TikTok.
So it was actually earlier this year that I kind of started really taking it seriously, and I am very fortunate to be friends with a lot of artists that have achieved like a good amount of success. And I think it was just, there's something about the people that you like interact with on a daily basis succeeding in the field that you want to succeed in that makes it feel so much more tangible. Like when you're just seeing artists that you love do it, it's one thing, but when it's like several of my good friends have made this happen for themselves using TikTok, it's like there's literally no reason that I can't do it. And I think for a while it was really intimidating to me because there is so much pressure to do well on TikTok because it is such a powerful tool. And I was just like, I just have to get over it, because I'm like a big believer in the fact that if you're uncomfortable doing something, you should do it as much as possible until you get comfortable with it. Like every single action is a practice. So I was like, okay, I'm uncomfortable with this because I haven't done it that much. So even just practicing hitting post on a post is a practice in and of itself.
Exactly, because I was looking at some of your TikTok videos and you were like, it can be super overwhelming, but like when you slow it down, kind of get used to it and comfortable with it, it looks like it's kind of slowly turned into like a positive addiction. Because I'm not big into props, but like I saw you like with the Ready Whip and like the coffee and just like saying, yo, I put Ready Whip in my coffee. And I was like,
have you tried that?
I learned that from you on TikTok. I have more like hot chocolate, but like I've actually kind of adapted up, but this is like too addictive. And thank you for using Ready Whip and not like almond base. So you're official. But talk
That's
about it.
so
Just talk
funny.
about the addiction aspect, and then is there a quota in the back of your head, like, okay, I've gone 30 minutes without a TikTok video. I need to create something, or can you like kind of go at a more casual pace?
So what I used to do is I would like batch content. Like I would have like one day out of the week and shoot literally, not exaggerating, about 20 TikToks, because so much of
Okay.
what I post is really based on text. So I could kind of film these formats without even having an idea for it and be like, we will figure that out later. Now I definitely do it a little bit more slowly, just because too, I know that the culture on TikTok has shifted from being like, you have to post 3 to 5 times a day, to now it's like they're kind of prioritizing like higher quality content. And I don't really feel like I need to post more than once a day. But I kind of, for like trends and stuff, I kind of like to do it just when I see it. This is going to sound weirdly unrelated, but I didn't start really wearing makeup regularly until a couple of years ago. And because of that, I'm completely comfortable posting looking however in any state. So sometimes I'll see a trend. It doesn't matter if I'm just like sitting there with no makeup and looking whatever. I'll just film it and post it then, just so it's not a thing that's kind of like on my to-do list. I'm like, let's do this now. All right, out into the world.
Got you. And I know you've even made a TikTok video about this, but how often are you hit up about your ethnicity, right? Because can I do the spoiler alert that you're Jewish and Japanese combined? And I took a lot of notes on you. I have the sriracha mayo reference. Like, you just call me sriracha mayo. I love it. I love the reference. You probably posted so much that you're like, oh my God, I even did that. But I just love the fact that there's this awesome Japanese, Jewish, dark pop artist that is just like hungry for just creating amazing content. Just talk about the ethnicity thing. Do you get hit with that like too much, or is it just occasional?
It's mostly in person, actually. I think online, people, there's just sort of like a lot of ethnical ambiguity, but like in person, the amount of times that people have just come up to me and been like, what are you? And I'm like, you can ask for my name first at the very least.
Yes.
Yeah, it is kind of funny though. Usually the only people that get it right are other half Asians. Well, they'll be like, are you also half Asian? I'm like, yeah, like Happas can spot another Happa, but everybody else is like, something's off about this white person.
No, it's super cool. I'm just curious, like, those are two dope, like, entities to be associated with, because both the Jewish and the Japanese cultures have so much delicious food. Cat's Deli out here in New York City, of course.
Yes.
Benihana's way too commercialized, but Nobu references and whatnot. But just talk about, if you have to kind of lean more side to the other, more Jewish cuisine, Japanese cuisine, or just if you had to choose, because I feel like both have amazing treats.
I think I would go with Japanese just because there's a little bit more variety in what there is. And also, I will fuck up some Japanese curry any day of the week. I actually just made it last week and I had enough to have it for like the whole week. And I did not get sick of it at all. I was like, yeah, it's Japanese curry for lunch, Japanese curry for dinner. Let's go.
Yeah, I feel like you can't even be vegan because of your background. I feel like there's too much sushi in the world and too much amazing hibachi meals. And then, of course, like I said, with Cat's Deli in New York, like so much delicious, matzo balls, chicken soup with matzo balls. There's so many amazing cuisines. Do you ever envision going vegan at all? Like,
I was actually a vegetarian for 10 years.
Get out of here. Wow, so we can avoid the meat. So when you're telling me burgers and burritos, we're not talking about like In-N-Out burger. We're talking about veggie burgers.
Well, not now. I've been eating meat again for about 4 or 5 years now. So I am a truly insane person. I am like very, very neurotic. So when I say that I was vegetarian for 10 years, I was vegetarian for 10 years to the day. I was vegetarian from July 27th, 2007 to July 27th, 2017. And for 5 years, I knew what my breaking thing was going to be, because basically this is so insane. My whole plan was that, and I think I came up with this around the 5-year mark, but my plan was, okay, at the 10-year mark, I will take a 1-year break from being a vegetarian. And the reason that I made that decision is because I became vegetarian at 13. So I think when I was around 18 is when I would try to go to dinner with friends and stuff. And I just would zone in on the 2 things on the menu that I had to choose from. Because also being a vegetarian in 2013, very different than being vegetarian in 2022. People are now I'm vegan. I'm like, that's not even impressive. You live in LA and it's 2022. You can eat literally anywhere.
Exactly.
You're fine. But yeah, it was much more difficult then. Burger King was the only fast food place that had a veggie burger, and most people didn't even know about that. But yeah, so my plan was at the 10-year mark, I was going to take a 1-year break just so I could I actually still haven't had a Big Mac, but now I just have the option to. But I was I'd never had a Big Mac. I'd never had a Whopper. There were just so many things where I was as somebody who loves food, I feel like I'm missing out on it. And then So the meal that I broke my vegetarianism with, by the way, was buffalo wings, because it was the only food that I could not find a satisfactory veggie version of. Like, cauliflower wings are good, but it's not the same thing. Like, we're not fooling anybody.
Exactly. Okay, let me ask you. When it comes to buffalo wings, like like upstate New York style buffalo wings. Because I'm from upstate New York, so like when people say buffalo wings, I don't
Like
mean
from Buffalo?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's like inspired. So there's places that like make exactly spot on buffalo wings from Buffalo, but it's very rare. It's kind of like when you want like a New York slice, you just can't go into like Domino's. Like you gotta go to like the hole in the walls or some of those spots. So when you tell me like buffalo wings, like do you have any like idea if it was like a good old fashioned like delicious upstate New York buffalo wing, or was it just like yo, that's buffalo wings on the menu at this TGI Fridays?
Okay, I love that you asked this question, because I was with, right now I'm single, but at the time I was with a boyfriend that I'd been with for a bit, and he actually like researched to see like where are the best wings in our area, and we chose the place based on that.
Can you tell me what that place is? Because like in LA, like in San Francisco, there's a place called Anchor Bar, and they're actually based out of Buffalo, but they have one in San Francisco. I have no idea where I can get buffalo wings at in the LA area. Do you have a spot you can name drop or no?
I believe it was called Ye Rustic Inn in Los Feliz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're still in existence. But so was it I imagine if you can remember that far back, was it crunchy to 2017? Was it crunchy, tasty, delicious?
They were really good. But it was funny too, because I actually remember, and there's photos of this too. I remember just sitting there in front of this plate for like 5 minutes. Because again, I hadn't eaten meat in 10 years at that point, and I was going to break it. And I remember even my ex being like, you can just have like one bite. Like, you don't have to have the whole thing. It's fine. I was like, no, I know you're right. And then I ended up eating, I think, like 3 or 4 of the wings. And I was like, yeah, it was exactly how I remember too. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted. This was a great call. Oh yeah, but after the end of the 1 year break, I was like, you know what? I've done my time. Because everyone else has only been vegan for like 2 or 3 years. I was like, no one can give me shit. Hit the 10-year mark, then you can start giving shit to me. Until then, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear.
And you know what's so crazy, Faye? Like I kind of had those moments too where it's like, I want to go vegan, but what I kind of like realize is just eat a little bit less meat, right? Because like, I feel like cancel any one thing out, like you're gonna like shoot yourself in the foot, so to speak. Like you're gonna find yourself accidentally eating ice cream that was supposed to be vegan, but they added like some dairy to it, and it's like, oh man, my streak is over. So limiting is just as good as like canceling, right? More or less.
Yeah. It's funny that you say that, because the last time that I was in New York, I went to this kind of art install thing where basically I wish I could remember the name of it, but it was like an art installation where the whole purpose of it was to teach people about like environmental impact. And the last sort of like room of the install was about meat consumption. And my best friend that I went with has actually been vegetarian since we went to that. And I started doing a thing where basically I wouldn't eat meat for the first week of every month. And it's pretty easy to do. Like, I don't eat meat in every meal anyways. So
exactly. And they have so many dope substitutes, or not even substitutes, but like just get a cheese pizza instead of a pepperoni pizza. Like just so many like little quick things. So I got still a handful of things. Like I barely have even cracked the surface. I had like a whole Q&A with Halsey related things. But you know what? I really do want to find out if you are like her #1 stan, or is it just like, yo, I just like her a lot. So can I like throw a couple like Halsey questions out to you? And we
wait, please. I'm like, please test me actually, because I think I'm a massive fan. I've seen her multiple times, so I'm like, let's see what you got.
So we won't. So I won't even make it the exact day and year, but I'll ask you this: what month was Halsey born in? What's her birthday month?
September 29th.
Okay, do you know the year by chance?
September 29th. It would have been 94 because she just turned 28.
Oh my gosh, yes. All right, so that was like the biggest thing. Do you know her full name, like her full legal name prior to getting married?
Ashley Nicole Frangipani. By the way, she was born at 9:26, if you want to know a time as well.
Whoa, man. Okay, you are absolutely the biggest fan. Where was she born? How about that? Where, not the hospital, but the city, state that she was born. Also.
I know it's in New Jersey. I don't know the city.
That's good enough. Edison, New Jersey, right down the road from where I am. Her son's name. Do we know her son's name?
Ender.
There you go.
And actually, fun fact. So I forget her. Oh wait, no, I do remember it. So her son's middle name is Ridley, because Halsey is really big at kind of fitting in like little Easter eggs and acronyms and things. So her son's acronym actually spells out the word era, because it's a new era for her.
Gotcha. So,
yeah.
Super fun fact. I really just I thought you would struggle with like 1 or 2 of these. And then this one might be the easiest one. What was her debut album's name, title?
Badlands. Although if you want to go to debut EP, we have Room 93.
Gosh, oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't even have that. I just had 2015 Badlands. You completely killed it. So just to kind of get kind of a little bit more quirky, what was your favorite relationship she was in? Give me like one or two, because I know she's like off the market now. She has a kid, yada yada yada. But like she's been associated with so many dope, cool celebrities, from some hip hop guys to some rocker singers. One or two relationships that you kind of like admired from afar.
Okay, so it's interesting that you're asking that because I'm a huge fan of hers, but I kind of don't give a shit about her relationships. I'm like, well, celebrity relationships in general. I'm like, that's none of my fucking business. I don't know you guys. Like, that's such a personal thing. But I'm like, I love her and I love her music. I do not give a shit about her relationships. If anything, I would maybe say G-Eazy because of the music that came from it. But I hated her with him. But I just meant like the impact, like her verse on that Post Malone song, we would not have if he was not so shitty to her. And her verse on that Post Malone song is mwah, chef's kiss.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm completely with you. I'm like the whole TMZ era is something get chaotic. But however, I do feel like relationships or current situations always inspires the music, right? Or at least can have an impact on the music. So completely got you on that. We got to talk about the pole dancing because I think number one, that's super dope, super amazing. I want to ask, like, do you watch P-Valley or was it just like, yo, I love pole dancing? And yeah, talk about the pole dancing for nearly 10 years.
Yeah, so I've heard of P-Valley because I think one of my friends worked on it in some capacity. I don't know if he helped cast people or helped kind of like choreograph it or what. But no, I actually started pole because I was looking for a way to be active and not go to the gym. And it seemed like fun. And I was right. And that was about 8 years ago. I actually started just on Groupon. Like I literally looked up pole dance on Groupon and I found some cheap classes at a place called Secret Pole Dance, which is in LA and is still around. And I became obsessed with it. Like at the time, I don't know how familiar you are with LA's landscape, but at the time I lived downtown and their studio is in Culver City, which is basically driving to like a different city, like not even just like a different part of town. Like that is like real far away. And I would go anywhere between 3 to 4 times a week. And I would sometimes even take like 2 to 3 classes at a time. Like it was just one of those things where it's like, I did it and I was immediately obsessed. Like I did not expect to love it that much. And I was just like, it's a way to be active. Like all of the people that I've met through pole are so great because it's just this community of women that like really want to be like strong and supportive. And like, I don't think I've met a single bad person through pole, if I'm being honest.
Get out of here. You know what? It's crazy because when you told me that, I just assumed that like you had a pole in your apartment or in your house, but you actually went out. So you have both. So you have the luxury of getting some lessons over there and then trying it out at home.
Yeah. I ended up getting a pole about 3 months after my first lesson because I was so obsessed with it that literally I would get home from these like taking 2 classes at a time and I would just be like itching to practice. I actually, I got my mom to get it for me for Christmas. So I started in either like September or October. And then literally my Christmas present that year from my mom was like a card that was like, you get a pole.
Got you. Now, did you cut that off cold turkey or like, is there like an acid fairy pole dancing TikTok page that like is somewhere in existence?
Yeah, I still do pole, but I don't really have like an account dedicated to it. I think at some point I had made an Instagram for it and then I didn't really keep up with it. And that was years ago. Yep. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of something that I've again done for a while now. And for me, I really started it as like an exercise thing and just became absolutely obsessed with it. Cause also like you feel so hot when you're doing it. Like, I think it's so funny when people are like, I don't have the self-confidence for it. I'm like, no, do it. And that will build it for you.
Gotcha. And just out of curiosity, what type of music did you play while you were pole dancing at home? Because I'm trying to like imagine, like, does it sound kind of like sensual? Was it dark music? Kind of like what was getting you into your zone?
It really depends. There's actually this instructor, Claudia Renee, that I used to take all the time before the pandemic. And she kind of had like very like vibey sort of electronic music that's really fun because the music that you have changes your movements completely. Like it's really fun to do stuff to like hip hop and you have like these really aggressive like kind of movements and you have like the heels on and everything. But like there's also, if you do stuff to like vibey electronic music, it's very like flowy and gooey and like it really just kind of depends on the day.
Gotcha. All right. So a few more things for you. I'm like really trying to just kind of hack this. I mean, we're like literally almost at the 30-minute mark.
I just just noticed that. I was like, oh my God, we've been talking for a minute.
All right, so the most important question that I jotted down, I'm going to read it verbatim so I don't mess it up. For you, of course, the one and only Faye, why did the marshmallow cross the road? Why did the marshmallow cross the road? No association to the chicken.
Shit. I don't know.
Oh, hey, it was, it knew there was more to life. How about that? Because you love puns, I had to make sure something, I know, super cheesy. Alexa actually helped me with that one. Right there, just talk about your love for puns. It kind of fits your personality, but just breakdown, pun life.
Wait, okay, this is such a good day for this interview because I recently started watching Bob's Burgers again. And if you watch Bob's Burgers and you pay attention, there's 3 places in every single episode that they have a place for new puns. So in the intro, there's the store to the right of them is always a new store that's like a business with puns. And then there's a van that comes by that's like an exterminatory service that's always like a bug pun. And then they always have the burger of the day. And because I started watching again, the other day I literally just sat and thought of puns for each of those categories. Can I read a few of them for you?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay. Let's do it.
I was like, wait, this is actually such a good time for this. Okay, so we have better to have lugged than lost moving company. We have beating around the Kush dispensary.
Very cool.
A spool and his money are soon parted tailoring. Yes. Treating a dead horse veterinarian. Elephant in the womb maternity clothing. Oh, this is a personal favorite. Don't tell me what to honeydew fruit baskets.
Love it.
Yeah, and then for burger of the day, I have a it's raining lemon burger, like it's raining men. Pickle a chard, any chard burger, and felt that to my coriander burger. Wow. I have actually way more than this, but I'm trying to give you just like top hits.
No, yeah, I was gonna say I know that list is gonna like grow to like infinity. That's insane. What? Okay. Few more things. There's so many things to throw at you. We didn't get to the ankle shattering thing. I want to talk more about food. So what we will try to squeeze in kind of, oh my gosh, the fashion goes, all types of craziness. Just, you know what? Let's just kind of bring it right back to square one. October 20th, super excited. The pre-saves are amazing, right? I've seen you freaking out over so many pre-saves. OMG, crazy. A 2-parter for you, Faye. Number one, why October 20th? Is there any significance? Because looking on my calendar, that's a Thursday, right? So it's not even Friday. So October 20th. And then, just talk about the excitement for the world to hear your latest creation.
So October 20th, it's actually funny because all of my previous releases have been on Fridays. And I know that's kind of the standard day to do it. But I remember reading articles that were talking about like for independent artists, it's actually maybe a little bit easier for people to listen when you're not releasing on a day that's oversaturated when all the labels are. So I was like, oh, I'll just do the day before. So that was kind of the mindset for that. And then October 20th, also because I am aware that it's a real spooky song. So I was like, I want it to be out before Halloween so people can kind of like get in the vibe for Halloween around it. Because also, like, if I put it out or like closer to Halloween, there's really only like 3 days left in like the spooky season. So I was like, this gives it like a little like 10-day span before people like move on to holiday mode.
Gotcha. And of course, it's a kind of a ... because we have False Memories is what basically, oh no, it ended. No, are we still here? Yes, you're still here, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I just got like an alert saying, okay, next thing. Anyway, oh my gosh, I hold on tight. Technology, right? I just completely went down for a second. So False Memories, of course, this is the last official song to go to the project, the follow-up to Purgatory EP from 2019. So putting this big thing to the masses 2023 rollout, can you exhale a little bit? Or is it more like, okay, marketing, let's get the perfect rollout for this entire project to go out to the masses?
So I shouldn't do this. I kind of just wing it, if I'm being perfectly honest, like in terms of release stuff. Like False Memories is an idea that I have had for several years because the name of it is based off of a chapter of a book that I read when I was 16. It's based off of a chapter in Salvador Dali's autobiography, who's one of my favorite artists. But the marketing plan and stuff, I'm not 100% sure about yet. I have kind of this fleshed out concept for it. So basically what False Memories came from was in Salvador Dali's biography, he has 2 chapters that are right next to each other. One is called True Childhood Memories and the other is called False Childhood Memories. And even though he is telling you from the title of the chapter and like at the start that like everything I'm about to tell you isn't real, He then goes to describe situations in such detail that you kind of forget that everything you're reading was made up and you were told that it was made up. So I kind of liked the idea of basically like when you're in a situation and you're remembering the details and stuff from it later and you don't have other people's perspective and you create it to be this whole separate thing that's completely different from what it actually was, like that to me is a false memory. So the whole concept for the album is basically looking at situations that I was a part of and really just delving into like my perspective of it and not really thinking about other people's perceptions of it or what like the truth actually is.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm gonna end the recording, but hang tight for a second. So on this kind of quick final note, is there any last minute thing you want to get off to the masses, real quick, Faye, for the world as they get ready for the 20th?
Stream it. Don't show it to your parents. Don't show it to your pastor.